in order to ensure the understanding of an abstract concept, or a concept that touches multiple dimensions of life, we must extremize it to the largest extent. In other words, we must take something of our everyday lives and bring it to the biggest scale possible. In this project, the concept of vector will be applied to something that is way more nebulous to human being in itself, the universe. This project is an attempt to exploit the large varieties of vectors present within our universe and on the surface of this earth via a poetic analysis falling under the romantic genre.
Planet Earth, my place, my home. A capricious location in the vastness of space.
Earth is represented as being a location in space. On its own, it is not a vector. In space, locations are points and displacements are vectors. We're analyzing the planet as a point, X, Y, Z position in the three-dimensional space. Earth is located at approximately 150 million kilometers away from the Sun. According to the system reference used, the Sun is located at the origin. Hence, the coordinates of Earth are the following.
On January 1st, a block of metal bound to rust.
1st of January. The gravitational force between both spheres is a vector. In this case, the vector has the following components, thus making it a positive vector. Positive 149,597,870, 0, 0. The following 1st of July, a minor globe about to bust. 1st of July. Earth has since January made a full 180. The gravitational force between both spheres is a vector. In this case, the vector is facing in the opposite direction as the previous one, and has the following components, thus making it a negative vector. Negative 149,597,870, 0, 0.
A unit vector is a vector that has a magnitude of 1, that when multiplied by the norm, it gives the amount to the non-zero vector. In this case, the norm of the force of attraction the Sun has on Earth is equal to approximately 150 million. In this case, the unit vector is therefore 1, 0, 0. If we were to take any vectors formed by the revolution of Earth around the Sun between July 1st and December 31st, it would have both positive and negative components according to the system of reference used. They would be the following.
A speck of matter in a mindless void, a lonely spaceship, a large asteroid.
The displacement done by both asteroids are parallel since they both have the same direction. All components of the parallel displacement done by the asteroids have the same ratio. They are affected by the same non-zero scalar k. The components of the asteroids are the following. The value of k is therefore 1/17.
Planet Earth, are you just floating by a cloud of dust?
Asteroid being attracted by both Earth and by the Sun, and therefore guiding their motion. Asteroid arrive near Earth's atmosphere. It will be more attracted to Earth than it will to the Sun. We will have to add both vectors in order to find the net force being applied to pull the asteroid by both spheres. The asteroid arrives at the same y value as Earth, being 0. Both vectors and the resultant vector will have 0 for their y component. Their x and z vectors will add up, though it is to be noted that for one of the z components, it will be negative.
As history repeats, humankind experiences defeat. Since we approach a closer scale in our intergalactic journey, a new reference system has been made.
Asteroids arriving from outer space into Earth.
There is a force that pulls the asteroids towards Earth. There's an air resistance that puts a constraint on the asteroid's displacement. In order to find the resultant sum, we subtract the vector A with the other vector t. So basically, it's like adding the opposite of vector A to vector t.
Meanwhile, on Earth, big step for humankind, way out for the blind mind.
Rocket leaving Cap Canaveral. A 2D normal vector is when a vector is perpendicular to a surface at a given point. In the case of the rocket leaving Cap Canaveral, the rocket has a displacement pointing straight upwards, therefore creating a 90 degrees angle with the surface on which it was previously at rest. In this case, only the y component of the rocket displacement represents the magnitude of the normal. Projected light that shines in the dark, humanitarian spark. The Moon relationship with Earth. On the following diagram, it is clearly shown that the vector component A along L is the projection of A on L. It is its parallel projection. In this case, W is the orthogonal projection to L. Vector A, in the diagram shown, is simply a force of attraction, and its orthogonal projection allows us to decompose it into two parts, W and L. Dot product is demonstrated as a way of showing that both parts of vector A are perpendicular to one another. In order for both parts of the component to be perpendicular, the dot product needs to be equal to 0. Therefore, W has an x component of a certain value, and y component of 0, and a z component of 0. L, on the other hand, has a y component of a certain value, an x component of 0, and a z component of 0. Therefore, when multiplying both vectors by dot product, we obtain a scalar 0. Earth and the Sun. This is a representation of the attractive force the Sun has on Earth, as Earth is inferior to the Sun. In this diagram, U and V are orthogonal 3D vectors. They span over a 2D plane. Y is coming out of that arbitrary plane and has components in X, Y, and Z. Y prime is the projection of Y onto that same plane. The perpendicular vector coming out of the plane is perpendicular to Y prime, V, and U.
Thank you for watching. All this poetry, the See My Solar System model, the video editing, the voiceovers, and all the different, many artistic approaches used in this video were put forward in order to create a more concrete base to incorporate and own the many different concepts of vectors seen over the last few weeks.